You are looking live? Allegedly? Welcome, it's SVPod. Stanford Steve is alongside, still in Eugene.
Yeah.
Red is on the floor. He heard the P for podcast word and was very confused, but was very excited to come bolting up the stairs. He's live. He doesn't know that. He doesn't give a flying. And buddy, number one, thank you for being here. I know it started at 2:30 a.m. local time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot on this card.
You don't have one card. You better have multiple cards.
I decided I was going to commit to writing neatly. We gave up with that in the 3:30 window. There's a lot of layers today.
Yeah.
A lot of layers. The night action is continuing as we speak. We'll be referencing some of the games that are going on as we're here. In terms of significant games and results, I think we look no further than Autzen, where you were. And you talk about the word opportunity often.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana had one, and man, did they seize it. Whatever people think of Cignetti, the curiosity they have about that program, is it real? What are they? They showed America today because they went into a notoriously hostile place to play and gave it to them. I'll get out of the way and let you begin wherever you want. And that's where we'll begin. Indiana 30, number 3, Oregon 20.
Yeah, let's do the game, and then we could do all the game day stuff later, just because the game had so much. As good as Autzen has been when I've been here, God, it's got to be close 10 or more times.
No urine thrown on you today, correct?
No.
Fantastic.
Rob Mullins, AD here, is as good as there is. Checking in on us all weekend and got to see him down the field. Got to see Coach Neuheisel. CBS was there, watched the first half with him and Aaron Taylor. He was still giddy, refreshing his phone to get the UCLA final. We can talk about that later. But I just go to the game, Scott, how impressive I was with Indiana and how they kept answering.
Yep.
I mean, that pick six is as loud as I've heard Autzen, and I mean it's going. And Indiana gets the ball and goes right down the field. And Mendoza is a guy who, coming into this game, had one completion out of the pocket this year. One. That tells you how comfortable he is in the RPO game, his accuracy, what they wanted to do, and then what they set up with him running, because I'm sitting there in the first half. I'm like, this is going to come down. The O-line is, false starts.
It's going to happen.
The non-PI call. Cignetti losing his mind. They get a false start right after that. He lines up to go for it. They get a false start. Like, I've seen teams absolutely melt. I've been on teams that absolutely melt in that building. And they punt it away. They keep playing. They get the field goal before the half. I thought that was enormous because as you're going to the locker room, that place is dead silent. Dead silent. And again, go back to the pick six. They get the ball. They go down. I thought the drive to get the field goal was so methodical and good. But how they set up things when Mendoza kept it on the RPO and he was wide open. I mean, I'm standing with people, sitting with people, and they think the running back has it, and they got him stopped. I'm like, no. I'm like, 15 has the ball. He's still running down the sideline. It's just a really collected. Their defense is so sound. Come out and get sacked first play of the game, set the tone. Just really, really solid kicking game. Everything. They've grown up. I thought they were better than they were last year.
You said that.
Boy, did they prove it.
Yeah, said it.
Every facet of the game.
Well, a mature, collected. They're not professional, but it's a professional effort, man. They're like this. They haven't lived on this stage. This is still new. This is still new, because for all that they did last year, And I get that it pissed people from Bloomington off, but it was just a fact. The best teams you played last year beat you. That wasn't, actually, I mean, that's opinion. I always say there's facts and opinion. I don't know who objectively could argue that Ohio State and Notre Dame were the two best teams you played last year, and they beat you. That doesn't mean you didn't have an incredible year. It's the best year of football Indiana's ever had. And so you come into this year, and there were people that looked for you to stumble last week in Iowa City. You get out of there with a dub. And you're more than a touchdown dog in Autzen, and you played with collective poise, as Steve mentions, and you were there. That pick six, the invitation to crumble is in your lap. And they said, no thanks. And Surratt, what do you go, 8 for 121, and he makes the O and says, and rips it apart. And then they get the deflection and the pick. And the defense, I didn't hear it said. I saw it on social media. I want to say Aaron Taylor said their front sevens is better than Alabama and Georgia. I'm paraphrasing what I saw on social media, so if I'm getting it wrong, I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth. But they hold Oregon to 14 first downs and 267 yards. I mean, they had that in a half the time you had to be the wedge buster 10 times that you're talking about. I mean, that's an amazing job defensively. And, you know, it's the elements, it's the crowd, it's the pick six. If you were weak-minded, if you didn't have the rights, if you didn't have the minerals, you crumble. But if you got steely resolve and a bunch of guys that are following their coach's lead, man, that's as impressive a win as you could have to go into that place. And I don't think this is the greatest Oregon team that's ever lived. And that Penn State win suddenly looks a lot different in retrospect. But regardless, you go there and you win. I'm not going to do anything to minimize. I just uplift the Hoosiers. I don't know what they're ranked this week, but it ought to be real freaking high.
I said 1. That's the best win in the country. It is. I mean, being there and seeing it and how they did it, it's, I mean, as impressive a win.
Well, you have a ranking.
Building,
you put your rankings out. You're saying ahead of Miami.
Yes.
Feels a little reactionary.
It was that impressive.
Feels a little reactionary.
It was that impressive.
Okay.
Very, very solid. And
it's your ranking.
Like I said, defense, offensive line, you're going to make mistakes. The ability to answer in control. I said it all week. I like the idea that Mendoza came here and got rolled when he was at Cal, but he knew
you said
what
that the other day.
Was like.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it made a difference. He's accurate, man. And he's a good player.
That's a big deal.
Really good.
It's a big deal to know what it's going to feel like, what it's going to look like, what it's going to smell like. I mean, all of that. That's a big deal. I don't care what it is in life you're doing. I mean, there's very few things that require you to have to deal with the things that sports are going to ask of you. But if you've never been in a specific place that has a rep for being intimidating, like if you're a performer, if you're a musician or something, you've never performed in wherever a venue might be. Unless you stood on that stage, you don't know how you're going to feel. He has. They got trucked, but not today. They didn't. That's on a day of a whole lot of stuff that happened that was impressive. That's the most impressive thing that I saw today was Indiana going into Oregon and walking out of there 10-point winners.
The Hoosiers had not defeated an AP top 5 team since knocking off old third-ranked Purdue in 1967.
For the old bucket of nails and false teeth. Old Oaken bucket. Don't get pissed. Boiler up. Big ass drum. Did they win that Minnesota game? I didn't see that final. Did I?
I was just thinking the same thing. I mean, these night games, I was all over the place. That we'll get to.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. But at some point we'll get to the game day. Oh, Minnesota. Sky Yuma row the boat. 14-point fourth quarter. Boiler up. Bum, 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 bum.
That's a tough one.
There's a rough way to go out. I lost track of that one, y'all. I'm sorry. There was a lot going on, trying to keep tabs on things. I don't know where to go, buddy. You tell, like,
you got to go to Jordan Hare. You have to.
In my life, I've lost plenty of picks. Okay, I've lost plenty of picks. And I've lost plenty of picks plenty of ways. It's 10-0. And Georgia, it's under the 2-minute warning in the first half. And Georgia has 20 yards of offense. The Silver Britches are being rolled. Not Toomer's Corner style. Yeah, not yet. We're going to wait till it's over to roll Toomer's Corner. But they don't possess the ball. They can't do anything when they get it. And they're getting ready to go up. They being Auburn, 17-0. Did they? I'm going to do the one thing that people that do our jobs rarely do. I'm going to say 3 words. I don't know. It'd be real easy as a guy that said in this brother versus brother, the South's oldest rivalry, give me the points at home. It was the exact script I expected. A spirited, ferocious, backs against the wall Auburn defense playing their asses off. And here's the script that's about to be 17-0. So, yeah, I took the 3 points. 3.5, actually. I don't know if the ball's moving before Jackson Arnold gets it to the line. If you're an Auburn person, you say clearly, and it wasn't particularly close. If you're a Georgia person, you say the ball's moving, and it wasn't particularly close. It's always fucking particularly close. Particularly that one. It took 39 minutes to play the last minute of the first half. It was excruciating. And it's Georgia ball at the 1, and then there's a series of targeting and fouls and personal fouls, and the next thing you know, Georgia's going to get a touchdown, and I said, buddy, if this happens, Jordan-Hare may come unglued. They were pissed off in that building. They held them to 3, but then in the second half, Steve, it was a complete role reversal. I don't know what the final number was. I just know that it was 0-0 for Auburn in terms of points, and they didn't have many more yards. Georgia, that turnover, I've rarely seen a game change as dramatically off one play as that. And then there's a late touchdown, so if you had Georgia, congrats, you covered. Sorry, I was rambling there for a bit.
I get it. There's so much. I just also want to mention, because it's one of my favorites, how good that building was.
Oh, it's so good.
They got hit with just cheap shot after cheap shot. Hits under the belt. And I'm saying to myself, they ruled it a fumble.
What did you think? What did you think?
Off the get, I thought it was a fumble.
Okay.
When I'm watching it live.
The other night when we're in Jacksonville, when Lawrence reaches it across and it's like right there, and I talked to the official walking out, and I said, "How close?" He said, "It's as close as we can recall having." Like it was that close. I felt like it was similarly that. The ball did feel like it was slipping on his way up. Like I don't know that he had it when it got to the line for sure, because it was particularly close. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But when it gets ruled a fumble, I'm saying,
why isn't it a touchdown?
Yeah, he ran it back. He put his hand down, his legs, shins never touched the ground. The other thing I can't get over,
that's true,
is how 0-0 for Auburn doesn't grab the ball. He's looking right at it. He's right at it, and he walks in the end zone. It's like touchdown, while 31 has the ball and is like struggling to get up. Like there's just so many things. But once it got ruled a fumble, and you're watching it, and McDonough is out of his mind saying that's a touchdown.
Yep.
I'm saying to myself, if they ruled it a fumble, they're not overturning it. They're not doing it, because when you rule it a fumble, now it's gonna the visual of the fumble happens that much sooner. Does that make sense? Like the first touch where Georgia gets it, the hand on the ball, you could say is a fumble because it's starting right there. So now it starts earlier than if you said he had possession, he touches the line, and it's a touchdown.
Yep.
But the momentum swings. Hold on. I got it right here too. So they get the ball. There's a minute 19.
Yep.
They go 12 plays, 88 yards for a field goal. in 119.
Yeah, that's because the clock stopped every play because someone was getting flagged for something.
And then when they review the Colby catch to see if the foot's in, I'm like, that's targeting. That there's no doubt. And that kid Lee was playing his ass off.
Oh, he was playing with so much ferocity.
I mean, they were. Oh, it was exactly what I thought. Auburn. It was kind of like 2 years ago when Peyton Thorne started ripping off runs, and then Carson Beck found Bowers and Ladd, and that was the only way they won to win by 7. But Auburn had all the momentum. Like you pointed out, Georgia couldn't do a thing.
20 yards.
And then you fast forward because you know what's going to happen. They tie it. They get the field goal. Auburn never has the ball. And that drive, I thought Stockton was awesome. I thought he was so good. I thought Bobo's plan was so good.
Mike Bobo! Say it right.
They used Branch so well. And then they run him off and use him as a decoy and hit 16 on the quick out. Then they run the out pattern to the running back. I thought Frazier was excellent in times where he's really struggled with fumbles. You could see how tight he was going with the ball to the chest, going old Tiki Barber style. And then Stockton runs it in. And it's just...
you know what you saw? One word. Aggression.
You're damn right. How about the clap for the timeout?
That's a little. How's that work? How does he get the TO there? How's that work? I mean, listen.
I don't have any words for Auburn fans. That's my problem. I feel so bad.
So do I.
So bad.
Not because I had him and gave him out,
there.
but also kind of that because it's a little personal. Shout out to American entrepreneur Nino Brown. Always business, never personal. Sometimes it's personal. This one's personal. Championship DNA shows itself. And all of the things that happen, and it's still 10-0, and you're still 99 yards away from the end zone.
Yep.
And teams that have belief, and this is corny, or it's the truth, and you just watched it. Teams that have belief, teams that have a championship DNA, that have lived in the deep end of the water for years, they show it. That drive to end it, you see it. I mean, that's the fingerprint of what a championship team looks like. Is Georgia vintage this year? No.
Their head coach would be the first person to tell you that.
But there's still a belief, and they're going to ball up their fist, and whatever they got, they're going to hit you in the nose with it. Because I'm telling you, if Jackson Arnold scores and it's 17-0, all this championship DNA is not bullshit. It's true, but they weren't coming back from that, brother. They were done. Over.
No.
That's you saying you don't think so? They're done.
No, I totally agree.
It's done.
Oh, they couldn't do a thing, and that building was awesome. Oh my God.
I said after the game at Oklahoma where I had Auburn, I said Jackson Arnold's limited. And then after I had him in A&M where they covered, I said he's very limited. I felt like in the second half you just saw they've had guys running open and can't hit them. And what he's good at, but what he struggles at, he really struggles at. And, you know, the ability when they had to get something going in the second half, I mean, they went for it on a 4th down, and it just I understand why they did, because it's like we got to make something happen here. I don't know. I'm gutted for the Auburn folks just because I mean, it's you fought your face off, but you got to kill that team 12 times to beat them once.
Well, Kirby's Georgia teams are the epitome of signing up for 60. They just are. They're the emblem, the shield, whatever you want. But I thought the broadcast did a great job of going back, Scott, because they had an apology written to them for the Oklahoma call. Like, look at what this team has done. Like, and you know, I do Greg and Cole's show every week, and I hear the callers calling in before I joined, and I listened to it, and I thought Greg was great this week because he's like, listen, Auburn, you got to win your home games. I kind of expected you to be 3-2 coming into this week, right? Like this is where you start. You had 2 tough road games, and you battled, and you weren't good, but you had an opportunity in a home game against the oldest rivalry down there. And in a game that means as much as anything, it was back to being a night game, which I thought added so much more to that game. And building is only better at night. And you still have that in your head, like the Oklahoma game. And then this happens, and you're like, but
there's a difference, though. The Oklahoma game is – go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but if Freeze doesn't have a connection wire to his headset – when they rule it a fumble and that thing's going 40 yards. I mean, and then like you said, the compounding happenings of that drive, or he loses one of his best defensive players, and it's another penalty, and there's a PI, and the late hit on the quarterback.
I would have had a medical episode. God. I would have had a medical episode at that point. I thought he might have just expire, and just from sheer rage. Again, the Oklahoma thing was they failed. They failed to correctly adjudicate a call. This is a judgment thing. And I don't know. And sitting there with Auburn plus 3.5 and winners, I'm saying, let's put the hands up, stripes. Let's play the fight song or ego. Nope, they didn't. And again, second half they couldn't do anything. Georgia. All credit to Kirby and his the fellas in the Silver Britches heading back to Athens with a ferociously fought 60-minute victory. That's the epitome of it. Since we're in the night space, and look, for those that are just watching on YouTube that have never before listened to the pod, it's just a buffet of nonsense with no direction or rhyme or reason. At some point, I'm going to mention the Air Force UNLV game. You know why? Because it was fucking awesome. That might be the only mention right there. How about it? 1,200 yards of offense, 6 lead changes in the fourth quarter. I had the Fly Guys plus the points. They missed a field goal at the gun. Dan Mullen's team is 6-0. There. We've accomplished that.
But Air Force covered.
Correct. It was an insane football game, though. As fun a watch as anything I saw on television today. I'm going to tell you a team that I watched carefully. There's a fellow named Cameron Dickey. He wears 8. He's a human bowling ball. He went for basically 250. I don't know if they're a law firm. Holmes and Height. Those are your DNs down there. I don't know how many tackles Rodriguez had tonight. The backer, number 10. It must have been 20. I don't know if I'm more impressed with your defense or your offense, Texas Tech, but that group is real. And against Daniels from Kansas, who's a pain in the butt to play against, they averaged 35. I said this the other night in Winners. I said, look, Tech hasn't given up more than 14 in a game. Kansas averages 35. Beastie Boys had a song, Something's Got to Give. Well, when it's 21-17 at the half and Kansas has battled back, I'm thinking, all right, Daniels going to keep him in it. Tried his best. There was holding on every other play because it was either that or he was going to get sacked. It was about 10 sacks. And they're coming from the edge. They're getting up pressure up the middle. And that whole scene in Lubbock it was always nuts. You've explained it well through the years. I go back to the Rosillo and McShay story, that Halloween night. You've always said you were there on the best night in the history of Lubbock. It's a different scene now because they got this influx of billionaire money in their NIL era. And I think they're in a different space than they've ever been before because they don't need to score 60 to win games. And I'm watching with a purpose, trying to see if we can get there plus the number. In the end, no. But holy crap, Dickey, again, 250 on the night. And Morton got hurt tonight. It's the kid Hammond I think he's from Austin. He came in, didn't need to do a ton because it's just, and here goes 8. And I love him. He gets to the end zone and he puts two hands. He puts two hands on the ball whenever he crosses the end line, which I just well done, young man. Anyway, I watched them and look, is Kansas climbing Mount Everest? No, they're capable of stressing you. And Texas Tech, they're a wrecking crew for like serious business. You got any shot to go see them for game days? Is there any chance to you guys always have like a map of where maybe?
Yeah, next week is in flux, but it doesn't look right.
I see.
It doesn't look good right now.
I understand
because there's other. I don't think parameters is the right word.
No, that's it. Just say whatever you want. It's fine.
But Dickey, 21 for 263, and
he ended up going over 250. Okay, good God.
Yeah,
263.
And I thought, I love. I mean, you don't want to lose Morton. You could tell he's the leader of that squad and what he's been through with that program in the McGuire era. But Hammond coming in, they found something running him too. I think he ended up with 8 for 61. I think he had 2 tuds too.
Did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different offense with him, but whatever. I mean, if you have options, great.
Yeah, if it works, keep going. Rodriguez, 14 tackles, 6 solo, 1 TFL, 1 sack. Bailey, 3 sacks, 3 TFLs. Height.
Holmes and Height both had a pair of sacks, I believe.
Good. I mean.
And it's 9 and 33 or over here, 10's up the middle. It's impressive, man. It's impressive.
Yeah. And I said it in I think our meeting yesterday. I have this fascination because I've never seen a Texas Tech team play defense in my life.
That's because there's never been one.
Yeah. And it's just I find myself kept going back because Kansas gets it close, going a half down 4, right? And
yes, that's what I'm saying. They scored 20. They scored 14 straight, and then they got a late field goal that must have been I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like it was in the mid 50s. But whatever it was, got them within 4, and then they weren't within 4.
No,
needed them to stay within 14. That didn't happen. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Let's stay in the night space. I want to mention a team, and I don't know what your viewing options were. I had a really impressive team in a sold out Coliseum on a screen, and this is not meant to be disrespectful to Michigan, but the wrong team is ranked based on what I watched tonight. USC, young man named King Miller went for a $158. The freshman running back, and they turned it over twice going in, or it would have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
They looked. I always want to try to be reasonable. They looked like a serious threat to being a playoff team to my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they are. I said going into today, we're going to find out a lot about. I think we're going to start seeing separation in the Big Ten. Who's actually going to be fighting for playoff spots?
Well, USC should be on that list.
No doubt. And I'll tell you what, Scott, I love this game. I loved finally what I saw from USC because they had some shit to them. And Michigan is a team that is over physical. They get extra hits near the sidelines. They're always punching at the ball when they gang tackle. There's a lot of shit that they try and get in your head with. And SC just kept throwing punches. You mentioned the fumble by the tight end McCree. That was brutal. There were some collisions in this game. But SC kept responding. And in recent years, we haven't seen that. And listening to Lincoln Riley and Sharon Moore say that it was sold out because Michigan was there. And Lincoln Riley said, I don't give a shit what he says. We'll be there Saturday night. And I thought he was good because he said when he got the Oklahoma job, the discipline and all the stability and the foundation was already there when he took it over. And when he got to SC, there was a lot of work to do. And it's taken a lot of time. But that was a big boy win tonight because Michigan forces you to play their style and force their antics and all the stuff they play with. And what they ended up putting 31. I mean, that could have been 40 burgers.
Easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, in terms of yards and possession, just what it looked like watching the game. And I give Underwood credit because on the road earlier this year against Oklahoma, against that rugged Sooner defense, didn't look great. He's a freshman. His first time on the road. He's not supposed to look great. If he did, it would be he'd be an outlier. He didn't do stuff wrong. It was just that Michigan's defense couldn't mess with SC. SC hung nearly 500 on them. It doesn't happen a lot. And I think I said this the other day on the pod that, for all the stuff about like Rutgers Washington on a Friday night, the storied rivalry. I mean, that the idea that that's a conference game is just nonsense. But getting Michigan and SC in the Coliseum, seeing those uniforms with the sun going down, and it's packed, and there was a ton of Go Blue in the building. Why would you go to LA for the weekend? Enjoy yourself. But SC was, if you haven't seen them, they would have caught your eye because there's a lot there, and there's a lot of. It's not just one guy. Like I feel like they got diversity of options, and that's who they play next. They get Oregon at some point in their place.
No, they got to go to Oregon later.
Oh, is that what it is?
Late. Yeah.
That's it. It's the Notre Dame game that's coming up.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
I'll just slide in Notre Dame, big win at home over the Wolfpack. Defense looking good. It's going to be tested in a different way next week by SC. That was a big-time win from them tonight. They were on one of the screens. I'm trying to think of what else in the night action.
I got to talk. I lost my super dog on South Carolina. That game. I mean.
That was a tough one. That was yeah. Sellers was doing everything he could.
Yeah. Nussmeier was doing everything he could to give the game to South Carolina.
They're not great offensively.
Beamer was on the Hugh Freeze level of blowing a gasket, ran a fake punt, got called back, wasn't the right call.
What were you getting there? Nine on a hook?
Of course.
Little late field goal there, 20-10.
Yeah.
Final in Baton Rouge, 20-10. That's a 10-point loss. I'm sorry,
but no, because I want to. I don't remember seeing. I wanted to make 44 for LSU. They transferred DN from from Florida. I hadn't seen him play. I remember reading about him, and I was like, "Oh, that kid was really good at Florida." What is his name? He was a force tonight. Yes, I mean that dude when he brings it, and Sellers is tough, man. Like he showed plenty of guts. I mean, he was getting out of shit and getting like 3-yard gains.
It was nuts. I mean,
but he would run like 50 yards.
Right, but he must have done it 10 times. Like a normal human would have been sacked 15 times, and he got positive yardage out of it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a tough L there.
Yeah, that was a rough one because I think everybody won besides me. So that was a good one. But Baker was dialing it up too, man. Like LSU's great because how fast and you hear the saying they blitz from depth, so they're not walking up to the line of scrimmage and coming. They're coming from 3-4 yards off, and they get there. And it's I mean Weeks and Perkins. I mean blitzing the corner, Pickett. He had a big sack. It's crazy.
But at some point you have to be better offensively.
Tonight they actually got a run game going, but the turnovers are just horrific. And Nussmeier's limping around. It seems like there's always something wrong. They still can't score over 20. I don't think they have over 20 in a game this year.
No, they got plenty more than that against like Louisiana Tech.
But Power 4 teams.
I understand. LSU
17 Clemson, 20 against Florida. 19 against Ole Miss, 20 tonight.
They're probably going to need more than 20 in Nash Vegas against the Doors.
Watch out there. Watch out. That's a hell of a matchup. But it was a lot of shit you got to put up with when you play at Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. Sellers tried his best. I thought the defense for South Carolina battled, and you could tell it was eating at Beamer, and LSU got some big plays when they needed to. But they can't, to your point, they can't keep living like this. The defense is obviously for real, but that offense has to get ironed out if they want to take the next step, which every single person that's affiliated with that program wants to do. But you got to get better on the offensive side, and that's off a bye. Thought you would be more crisp, and they weren't, but they got to win. That's the most important thing, and I'm sure Brian Kelly will say that after that one.
As he should. I mean, ultimately, that's the only thing that matters. Do you win the game? This will allow me to check this team off the list. Lane Kiffin in Mississippi could say that. I don't know if you saw any of it, but they were playing a Washington State team that gave up 59 points in back-to-back games earlier this season. And I give Washington State credit because they were competing. They're ahead in the second half in Oxford. And I get it. You're down there in the Grove, and you're like, y'all want to go in today? I don't know. Hell, Washington State sucks. I'll just do Wright Thompson. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go in there tonight. I'm going to get some sipping whiskey. Why would I want to go in there and watch Washington State? They can't beat anybody. They're ahead, and then Ole Miss is Ole Miss, and eventually they're up 10, and then it's a 3-point game. All that matters is in a game you're sleepwalking at noon against a team that I understand why you, no matter how hard you're going to try to mentally prepare your guys for, you got to compete. They're looking down the road at Georgia because of course they are, because they know they got to go to Athens next week, and you better buckle it up because they're coming for theirs after what you did to them last year there, right? Anyway, all that matters is win the game. Ole Miss did. They're still unbeaten, but they were not in any way, shape, or form impressive today. Washington State actually was, the way they competed. You're a hell of a long way from home against an SEC team. And they
Pullman to Oxford.
How are we getting on that? What's that?
Well, we're out here, and I pull in Thursday, and I also notice Wake Forest trucks. I'm like, they're out here playing Oregon State.
Yep, they were.
Winston-Salem to Corvallis.
Go Deeks. They won by 39 to 14, win. I believe. Good for them.
Big win. Got to see Coach Dicker and his staff
last night.
Big
angry Muppet. Old man.
Green.
Angry old man.
Got to talk
Muppet.
to him about that bad call against Georgia Tech. He's still livid.
3rd and 5 where it was offsides and would have been first down, and they win the game.
He made a good point. He wants to review pre-snap penalties. I like that.
People always complain about it takes too long. Like we're in the space where you can get stuff right. Get stuff right.
He said, "Give me one chance a game," and I brought up that would help the tush push.
How about 4 in a row of those Thursday night?
Yeah.
I asked Damian Woody about that, and he's like, "Man, I think this is the last year." I'm like, "Then we don't have to act like it's a player safety thing." Although one Giant did, I think, get banged up on one of those plays. It's basically just, you know what? Everyone hates it except Philly fans. That's really all it is. No one enjoys watching this 4 straight plays. That's why it has to go. That's a stupid reason to get rid of something, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Well, we don't like watching it. It's kind of stupid. Well, stop it. No one can. All right, fuck it. Get rid of it.
Just call it when it's a false start.
That also seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. They miss those. I don't know how they miss them, but they do.
The Washington State play for the first touchdown where they had 2 quarterbacks in and they handed off the one.
They almost missed it. They almost missed it. It was one of those 2 wide opens. It was one of the 2 wide open things. But, I mean, salute to them. They were getting 32 or something, and they were lost by 3. I have, much like the Air Force thing, can I just mention a couple things that there's some games that we'll obviously dive into. I want to mention Mason Heinschel, the freshman quarterback for Pitt. He made some mistakes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Got lucky on one where he was going to put it on the ground, and they recovered it as they're driving. But he walked into Doak and did it. And they beat Florida State, who's now, like, think of Florida State's year. You and I are sitting here on a Saturday night after they beat Bama, and we're like, buddy, they got some shit to them game now. This is old school Tally, baby. Back in the day, Doak.
Mm-hmm.
They're 0-3 in the ACC. 0-3 in the ACC. And
they didn't win one last year, right?
That sounds right. That sounds right. So they're on quite a skid. But they switched quarterbacks after the Louisville loss at home, where they had the big lead and they got away. And then last week they beat the brakes off BC at home. Pitt, I'm speaking of.
Yep.
And they go down to tally, and I don't care what Florida State's record in the ACC is. They're different this year. They're better. They beat Alabama. Like, they're a more cohesive group. They beat him. I just want to mention, like, that was a really impressive victory to me.
No doubt.
So salute to them. Salute to Blake Horvath and Navy, 6-0, anchors away.
How did that happen?
A 52-yard touchdown scamper late, down 7, went for 2, got it. Horvath. They're 6-0.
Go for it. I mean, that's Navy football. Did they run it for the 2 or did they
threw it?
Wow.
Because you're banking on them to run. So I want to say Horvath ran. I think it was a 52-yard run ish, something like that. And then it was a little toss. Horvath ran for $156 on the day, a couple of touchdowns. Temple fought hard. Up 7. You're thinking, can we get there? In the end, no. Navy is 6-0. So I have Navy at 6-0. I wanted to mention the Pitt quarterback that I was really impressed with him. The Air Force UNLV game was bananas. Colorado, Coach Prime, that's two straight road losses in a row for Iowa State, so they go from unbeaten to 2 L's in a row. But Colorado played well in this game. So it wasn't like the Cincinnati game was weird last week because Cincinnati was way ahead, and then in the end it was like they were trying to bleed the clock, and it got – I don't want to get bogged down in last week, but Colorado played a clean game. I don't know if they had a turnover. They might have. They didn't throw any interceptions, but I mean –
when Salter's good, he's good.
That's what I'm trying to say. And they were and they also hold Iowa State to 17. So it's a really good win for Colorado. I did mention the Notre Dame thing. I didn't want to miss that result because they got USC coming in next week. I mentioned the Ole Miss thing. And all the other games feel like there's just more layers to them.
Meat on the bone.
I've been occupying all the conversation. I want to whatever strikes your fancy. I'll get to the others.
I wanted to talk A&M.
That game started off like a house of fire. Touchdown. It was just 14-14 in the first quarter, which was not what I anticipated.
Mm-mm.
I don't like the A&M white hats at home.
No,
it's confusing to me. Neither here nor there. I like that team though.
Yeah, I hate. I don't want to say ceiling. You know, when they're on, they're really, really good.
It looks easy. It looks easy sometimes.
And that second half, I mean, Elko is so good on defense. Like that, those third. I mean, Lagway went back to the old Lagway in the second half. Like I got it. We're going to talk Red River, but his mechanics, his base is so wide, and you see these throws where he doesn't even get his back foot into it, and it sails or it's in the dirt, and it's just like herky-jerky, and he's a great deep ball thrower.
They have no easy plays, Steve. Nothing is ever easy. It feels like an excruciating exercise to get anything accomplished, and even when there's down 7, you got somebody open, it's like he hits it, but he's got to fall down to make the catch. They went for it at midfield in the fourth quarter, like 4th and 6 after it was a 3rd and 6, and they run it into the line. Then they go for it 4th and 6 at midfield. Your defense is playing fairly well. They'd found their footing. You go for it, and you basically hand them more points, and now it's a 2-score game, and you got no shot. That looks a mess. But, I mean, a lot of that has to do with the A&M defense that you're up against, too. I know you think the world of what Elko does just scheming them up.
It's crazy. I mean, that's a good offensive line for Florida, too, and you saw that in the first quarter. And you saw it last week pushing Texas around. But the visuals he provides and then it doesn't look like that, and you're confused.
Right?
I mean, it's like he's a magician, man. It really is spectacular. Do they go? Who do they got? They go to LSU soon.
I was looking at A&M's schedule during the game, and it's not.
Oh,
awful.
they got to go. Old Bobby, watch out! Watch out! They got to go to Fayetteville next week.
Hogs hung around today in Knoxville.
I didn't have the guts to take. That's why I did. My super dog. Did you?
Suey.
Good
I
for
sure
you.
did. Sure did. Took them
because they were down 34-17, and then they made it 34-31. Did they have the ball?
Jack. I need our resident from. I lost.
Yes. So Tennessee's defense just was bad today. Obviously, Arkansas had too many drives that were good late, and hung around and made it really interesting late.
As I said in Winners, Tennessee will give up some points now, and Arkansas can score them. So if you're going to give me a dozen and a hook, I'll take it. Now they were up 17, and then and then Arkansas scored a couple of touchdowns to get within 3. But they go to Arkansas. A&M does. Okay. I mean, that's an interesting one.
And that's at Fayetteville. It's not at Jerry World anymore. It's at Fayetteville, which is awesome. They need that.
I prefer that. Should be an on-campus deal.
Yeah.
By the way, Jack is part of our group from Omaha. I want to thank the folks from Omaha. Thanks from Podville that have been working feverishly to give us the opportunity. We do this on Saturday nights anyway, but now the ability to do it in real time as things are just over.
Do you think anybody's listening live?
Not a
watching?
single human. I'm looking for a show of hands. Looking out on the horizon, not a fucking soul. Come on.
Sign of life.
Yeah. Anyone. Just anyone let us drop us a line. Send Venmo Steve.
Tweet Scott.
Venmo Steve $1, and then we'll know. But seriously, the Oscar, Shannon, the whole crew, like Rob, the gang, working like to make it. We appreciate you. Red's back there. I think he's passed out on the bed.
Or he's eating cheese sticks.
No, I think he's. There's a very soft bed back there that I'm pretty sure he's balled up on.
Oh.
It's just he can rack some hours.
Okay.
So that's where that was the A&M thing you wanted to mention. I don't want to. Is there anything else?
We're talking about separating and moving in the upper tiers and stuff. They got the goods, man. Marcel's got to be a little tighter, but they can do it.
What I'm talking about when it doesn't look easy, when it's right for A&M, it just looks easy. They run shit that feels like you're playing the video game on a freshman, and they do whatever they want. Nothing's ever easy for Florida. But I mean, this last month they just played was a ridiculous ask of anyone, that 4-game stretch. Speaking of defense, Steve, I'd like to mention a team who collectively all have wallets that are the brown wallet. Ohio State's defense is just sinister. Holy smokes. Arvell Reese, I don't know who he's my favorite. And the single digit on a human that large just feels like it just makes it more fun. It's the perfect. He has the perfect number, 8. That's me. I'm him. They gave up their first red zone touchdown of the season this year, and then Illinois got another one late, which I give. I mean, look, Bielema's guys are going to keep swinging. They're on their home field. Everybody's juiced up. They kept
orange out.
They kept playing. I actually had a chance late to try to knock on the old back door. Didn't quite get there. But that defense is playing an Illinois team that outside of when they got boat raced by Indiana, they averaged 42 a game. So they're just doing that boa constrictor deal on them, just squeezing them and squeezing them and squeezing them. And they've got enough toys on offense. And I heard Nick talking about saying who they recruited when he was down there and how much regard he has for that young man. But when I look at Ohio State, I just look at that silver bullet crew, and holy crap, they got so many dudes that I think that's as good a defense as there is. And that Washington offense has hung big numbers on most folks, and they couldn't do anything, really. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They moved. They just couldn't score. They couldn't score touchdowns against Ohio State, which is what they needed to do in Seattle. Anyway, the Ohio State performance in Champaign, I thought, just an opportunity to mention them, and I just wanted to mention Arvell, who is the next dude from there to be. What year is he? What year is Reese, please? Is he a sophomore or junior? Junior. Coming to a league near you next Sunday.
6'4", 243.
Negative body fat.
I think he'll do all right at the combine.
Oh my God. and it's. I mean, I don't know numbers wise if he's going to be like, if he's going to lead the whatever, but I don't care. Just watch him play, and your eyes will be drawn to him.
Yeah, they just have those. I mean, Sonny Styles, I still love. He had 10 tackles. Arvell, 9, 8 solos, 1.5 sacks. Caleb Downs, 9 tackles, 7 solo. Sanchez, who's a true freshman corner, he number 4. He's going to be heard from. And then the Caden McDonald, Caden McDonald, and then Caden Curry, 98 and 92. I mean, it's just
War daddies.
Oh,
Larry Johnson's they just churn them out, man.
They do.
Churn them out. It's like the wide receiver room and the defensive tackles from out of there. They always have depth.
I don't know who's going to beat them.
Well, I mean, in the regular season, nobody.
I mean,
Wisconsin's a catastrophe at the moment.
Oh.
I thought corn versus crops. Like I thought tonight you'd see proud Wisconsin effort. My God, that's as bad.
Iowa hit the over themselves.
And Wisconsin got blanked, right?
I
think it was 37-0 was the final, I believe.
That's what I saw.
That's incredible.
Yeah. In Madison.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they're not beating him. Penn State, we can get to that eventually. What a mess.
Oof.
I want to ask you what'd you make of Red River? Like, what?
I saw. We went up when it started raining. We went up to the suite and got something. Shout out to the Pape family. Their son, Scott, was the little kid who was the guest picker back in 12, that Corso called a midget.
Oh, that's
remember?
The preferred term now is little person.
No, I'm saying
I'm kidding. I know. I'm well aware.
He's now a sophomore at Tennessee.
Of course he is.
It's crazy.
Time
they
flies.
had us up. And so the Red River was on. So I caught it probably mid-second quarter, saw the drive where Arch had chances in the end zone, and they get the field goal. Then I thought the Mateer pick before the half was awful.
He had 3 picks.
You got a chance to get a field goal there, too.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Texas, I give him credit. What I saw was Sark being Sark and making changes and really digging deep, because I went back and watched that Florida game, and he thought they could throw vertical. You kept seeing it, and Arch, he hit a couple, and then the time in the pocket, the issues they had at left guard, the protection I talk about, their offensive line is below average, and what he did today, I thought a lot of. He made easy. He got rid of the ball quick. It wasn't pretty, but it's not going to be against pretty, because Oklahoma's got crazy people on their defense. And he goes 20. It's like I said, not pretty. What was 21 and 26, 166?
Yeah, it was.
But it was effective, and there was a little rhythm there. Like it changed his whole mindset. Where he's getting the ball out, and he looked better. And most importantly, they got to win, man. I didn't think they were going to win that game. I picked Oklahoma after hearing what Mateer was, and I thought that Oklahoma defense was going to be the difference, and they weren't. And shout out my man Jeff Banks, special teams. They run a pump back, which was there was the
13.
Momentum swings.
It's 13-6 at that point. I mean, it's one of those games that everything you're saying is true, and really, when it comes to Texas at this point, Arch Manning doesn't need to win over people writing articles about him or people talking about him on our show or anywhere else. What they need to do is win games, and they beat an unbeaten Oklahoma team today in a rivalry that means a whole lot to a whole lot of people. And it didn't matter that it didn't look pretty. it's a 13-6 game when that punt return happened, and that allowed everybody collectively to exhale just enough that they could say, all right, maybe we're gonna get this one today. Maybe we're gonna get out of here with this one. And they do, which allows them to settle down, maybe add layers to it. Because whatever we were talking about in August with him and them, it's the middle of October now. And that's what matters. None of the conversation in the chatter, none of it means nothing. They just had to beat Oklahoma today. I did find this interesting, and I jotted these numbers down just when you mentioned the other night on SportsCenter when you were with us. Lowest total we've seen in ages, and it stayed way under. And 4 years ago, Steve, this game had 103 points and 1,178 yards. 4 years ago. Today, 29 points and 560 yards. And 7 of those points, or 6 if you want to be a stickler, are on a punt return for a touchdown. So it was not an offensive work of art. But in the end, Texas gets the victory that they desperately needed. So as you and I are talking here live, we're seeing, I think BYU just scored to tie Arizona. We'll be keeping an eye on this one. Did that hit the ground? Hard to tell. Arizona had a 10-point lead. Gave them. Naturally, they're going to lose. The night window for your boys is as gross as it gets. Auburn, they're right there. Kansas, they're sort of there. Florida, down 7. Arizona's up 10 at home. And now, did it hit the ground or not? Hard to tell. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. Anyway, the Texas win at least keeps them in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, they after all this,
yeah,
they have one conference loss. That's what they have, and that's the goal, right? To get to Atlanta, they're in the mix.
In the mix,
as Doggy would say.
Yep.
But no, I really.
How would he say Sarkeesian?
Oh,
Steve Scott, let's him out.
I just know, like, because that's a rough one, man. Like you go to Florida and lose and make almost, that's their biggest feat, and you're coming home or going to Dallas against your arch nemesis, and you're watching them on tape all week, and you're like, we got to button it up real quick, and they did. And they did what they had to do to get a win. That's some big time stuff from a coaching staff and a team, getting your team to respond. Wisner 22 for 94. Like I said, wasn't pretty, but on the flip side, that's why I thought Oklahoma had to have that, because now you go to South Carolina, host Ole Miss, go to Knoxville, go to Tuscaloosa, host Missouri, host LSU. I have no idea what you're going to look like after that, and I thought the onus would be there today. And,
wow,
it wasn't.
That's really is.
That's got toughest remaining schedule in the country.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because let's just start at the end, because those two teams that are the last two you played each other, that got our game started. All our games kicked off today at noon. By the way, incomplete for the moment in Tucson. Missouri gets the opening kick, goes right down the field, up 7-0. Alabama responds, speaking of championship DNA, with the next 17. And it ends up being a game that features some really ballsy fourth down calls and Ty Simpson looking like that dude on a number of occasions. I was very impressed with Missouri initially, and in the end, I'm more and more convinced that Ty Simpson's he's got the goods.
No doubt. He's got some nice toys to play with too. Those guys are good. I thought Horton really showed out today. And you look at Ty, like 23 of 31, 200, 3 tuds. Jam Miller is really, really good.
Yeah, he got
physical.
blasted. He got blasted there on the sideline and had to leave the field, which you hope he's all right. It was sort of like hit blow to the head. But I mean, Missouri. I mean, Coach Drink's guys battled. You know, I mean, we talked about it because it's true. They hadn't been tested nearly like this, but they showed up and showed out, and at least, I mean, a 3-point game, and they actually got the ball back late. But I mean, Bama's not going to give you much there, and they didn't. But I just was really shocked's not the word. I was surprised. I was surprised that there were several times that they, on 4th and long, it wasn't 4th and 2. It was 4th and 6, and we're throwing it. And throwing into windows that aren't like, we're not running mesh where we get, I get the tight end over here, we're going to get the fast guy going this way. No, they're throwing like to the beyond the numbers. It was, you know, Sam Cassell gif. He was he made the tosses that mattered. And as you say,
I thought the story was
for sure. Go ahead.
I thought the story was holding Hardy to what, 52? I mean, so you go back to the second half of Vandy after they gave up 100+ on the ground in the first half. I think they gave up 8 yards on 9 carries in the second half against Vandy, and then you hold Hardy to 52. That's a hell of a job. I know you gave up 163, and that's around what you were giving up, your average, but to hold Hardy to 52, I mean, that's a hell of a job by your defense. And they look as good as anybody, man. That's not an easy spot. 3 straight ranked opponents, going back to the game in Athens, hosting Vandy, and then you go to Missouri. That's good stuff. And now you got the cigar game next week, right? Yeah. Tennessee comes to town. There's plenty on the line there, and sets up for an awesome matchup.
Yeah, that was. I think where you see we talk about championship DNA, and again, like I asked the question: is DeBoer allowed to finish October? Or is that okay now? Because I know y'all wanted to get rid of him. He's good. Is he all right now? I'm just curious. People get emotional. They want to get rid of their coach. UCLA did. How about them? Got off the deck, beat Penn State, go to Michigan State. They scored like 38 in a row today.
Yeah.
Good time for my Terps to be heading out to play them in the Rose Bowl next week. Great. Great. Buddy. Two weeks in a row in the snake pit. Fourth quarter leads. Yeah. Last week when you looked at the Washington tape, you're like, that's really tough. This game was, if you look at it, I don't know if you will, it was a very odd combination of things happening. Raiola's like the 3-point shooter that keeps both teams in the game simultaneously. He threw 3 picks. One was a pick 6 that gave Maryland the lead. And now Maryland's got the lead in the fourth quarter, and it's a young group. Number of things. I give Nebraska the credit. Raiola led them on a touchdown drive late, and lose at home by 4 to Washington in a game you led by 20. Lose at home by 3 to Nebraska in a game you led by 7 with the ball driving. Oh God, Steve.
Yeah, that's when I saw our guy Jeff Brown hung around. So we went to the game together, and his phone was working getting scores. Mine wasn't. And I said, I need Maryland score. They were up 31-24. They had the ball, and we're walking out, and he's like, they lost 34-31. So I'm thinking walk-off field goal. No,
that's not what it was.
Touchdown with 1:06 left.
Yep. That did happen. Again, give Raiola credit. 3 picks, one of which
Nebraska. That's a big win, man.
Sure. I mean, look. Let's not just look at this through that lens. Look at the team that always lost the close games. Now they've won some of those, and they're 5-1, and keep winning games. But it's a really tough one for a Maryland team that's again had 2 in a row at home. That our fan base, they love to eat their own and get pissed off, and everybody sucks. But I think this is a young team that showed a hell of a lot of heart these last 2 games, and it's frustrating and it's disappointing, and obviously we wish we would have won both. Didn't. And go out west, see what you can do against a UCLA team that suddenly resurrected this season.
Yeah, they're 2-1 in the conference.
There you go. Everything's
crazy.
Everything's in front of them. How about the team they beat last week? UCLA. They beat Penn State last week.
Yeah, I didn't see a second of that. When did Aller get hurt?
On the last drive when they were down 20, when they were down 1, it was the last drive.
2:21.
It was a third down. I believe it was a third down play. And now he's lost for the year. But it's
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Penn State took the lead late, and we talk about Mississippi, talk about Texas, entirely different situations, but ultimately just win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure fans are out for blood. It's not pretty. Northwestern's not great. You're down 16 to whatever, but they score the touchdown. They're ahead. Get a stop. Northwestern goes 13 plays, 75 yards to take the lead. And then Penn State's trying to answer for what you'd need a field goal to beat Northwestern. And Aller gets hurt. Then they get stopped on 4th down. And you lose back-to-back games as a 20-point favorite, which is something that hasn't happened in forever. And, I mean, we talked about the Franklin thing last week. And what's insane, Steve, is 3 weeks ago, probably right around this hour, you were in State College. And you were giving us the rundown of what that whiteout scene was like and the emotions of the night. And you take Oregon into overtime. And 3 weeks later, they lost that game. They got beat by a UCLA team that looked to be done, and they just lost on their home field to Northwestern. It's just a stunning implosion for a team that was preseason number 1, right?
Yeah, some
polls.
Yeah, some polls.
I mean, I got nothing. You owe them 50-something million if you want to run them. So I don't know how that works.
I can't remember a coach or I should say, I don't remember a team losing 2 straight games as 20-plus point favorites.
Well, what I saw was that it hadn't happened in 30-plus years, and it's one of those things where it's, you know how we have, on SportsCenter will say, like, in the StatCast era or whatever, like it's as far back as you can find. I mean, maybe someone has, I don't know, but it's not any time lately.
Yeah,
and that's on the heels of losing the game that it's like, man, he can't win the big games. And then the joke last week, of course, was now he can't win the games against the bad teams either.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought, we talk about opportunity, and I kept saying all week, I'm like, the opportunity starts now. You still have Ohio State and Indiana. I'm not saying you're going to beat them, but you have those opportunities to get back in it. And I thought they would come out pistols firing, and man,
we could sell them. We could sell them some sunshine, Steve. You've told everybody that there's going to be some 3-loss teams in the playoff. Yeah,
they're in last place in the Big Ten. They're 0-3.
Wow.
Who had that?
No, not a single human. Equal to the number of people actually watching live on the YouTube page as we speak.
Exactly.
That's not true. Millions.
0-3 in the Big Ten. Michigan State, Penn State, Rutgers, Purdue, Wisconsin. Wow.
I mean, there's a bunch of those I didn't have. I didn't imagine Wisconsin would be looking like this either, but that's a very different expectation scale as it compares to Penn State. And again, you've got to play an Ohio State team that we just described, I think has as good a defense as anyone in the country. And now your star quarterback's out, and Pabula is playing at Missouri because he transferred. And then you got to play Indiana, who, again, just went to Oregon and held that team to under 250 yards and beat them by double digits on their field. So It's astounding. I don't know what they'll do. And look, we've said this many times about many different schools. I understand, and especially in this situation, you don't need some guy getting preachy with you about why you shouldn't want to get a new coach. However, I don't know where the money comes from. That's not my concern. That's ultimately yours. But then the question is always, who are you going to get that's better? But when you're 0-3 in the league and you just lost back-to-back games where you're favored by more than 20 points, I understand if your answer is anybody. That's not the correct answer, but I understand the emotions of the moment. Sure, you'd feel that way. But I don't know, man. Go back to when we were started. I don't want to. We'll be like the Grim Reaper over here. We talked about UCLA and Virginia Tech, and the next morning they both made changes. And then who else did we talk about here? We talked
Sam Pittman.
We talked about coach. Yes, sir. Our guy Sam Pittman, and then we both said you can't really do this, but they did it. And Bobby Petrino's your interim. Anyway, I mean, I can't fathom that Penn State's just going to wake up and make some impulsive decision and find $50 million or $58 million or whatever the number is under the couch cushion, because I'm sure they got cash, but that's a big stack of it. But it has not been this bleak under his watch. And Ben Jones, who I think does a great job covering them, was just talking about how, let me get this right. I want to make the attribution correctly. That I think this is well put. It's revisionist history to really categorize James Franklin's tenure as anything less than a program-building success, but it's hard to find many people buying into the vision anymore. That's Ben Jones, who I think has done a great job covering Penn State going back to all that happened in the end of the Joe Paterno years, and always I think has a very sensible read on what it is there. But that's you lived it a couple weeks ago, man. It's a massive, passionate fan base, and here they are in this spot that no one would have dreamt they'd be. Since we've come on, after I watched Auburn blow a double-digit home lead in winners, BYU is now tied Arizona. Hell of a drive. They're certain to fall in overtime to make it a losing week in winners. Hard to be more right and yet get things more wrong than we are currently. How'd you do on the slate this morning?
I want to give a shout out to my only winner.
Who was that?
The big ass lightning bolt.
Kent State.
We're an underdog in 27 straight FBS games. They played the team that has the second longest streak as an underdog in 13 straight
That's
FBS
UMass
games. Amherst.
That's out by Groton.
Kent State. Ran the opening kickoff back.
Did they wear powder blues? I saw some video in it. They looked like their jerseys were immaculate. Am I imagining that?
Yeah. They I forgot what they called them, but yeah, had to have them.
That's your only winner?
Last Sunday, they were a favorite. Yeah, Penn State first half didn't get there.
Ooh.
And Oklahoma did not get there.
Okay.
And South Carolina was a tough one in the old Superdog.
Yikes.
But no, Kent State, that's good for them, man. They just went to Oklahoma and got shut out. They covered the 44.5 last week because they got beat 44-0. I don't know what the hell. I'm just checking scores. Texas State was up 28-7 and lost to the Troy Trojans in overtime 48-41. I feel like Troy has played some wild games lately.
Haven't seen it.
On Marshall.
Should, yeah. Shout out to Marshall. They were 14-point dogs. They beat our friends from Norfolk.
And ODU gave Indiana fits to start the year. And
Correct.
I'm like, thinking about it.
When they went to Blacksburg and they beat Virginia Tech by a bunch, obviously, as well. That was that's
sleeper in the old Sun Belt. That's a tough loss in the old belt.
I used to be America's premier Sun Belt tout, but I've lost my pulse on pretty much everything. We're in overtime. You never know. Bear down for Arizona. Bear down, red and blue. Hit them hard. Let them know who's who. How was the scene there? Look, those folks get up early, bro.
Unreal. Oh God, I said to the guys on the desk, it was like we were finished in the first hour. I'm like, is the sun ever gonna come up here? I mean, it's pitch black. I mean, yeah, I get it, 6 a.m., but you start wondering about when it's gonna happen. But it was, yeah, they're awesome here. It's really cool. They get it, they love it. It's a great fan base, and they got humbled today, and they were feeling themselves because of what Lanning has done last year. And, they didn't get touched in the Big Ten last year, and they got to give it to them. But, no, it was spectacular out here. And the scene was great. The weather held off. Guy Carney came and sang. They redid it in the stadium. It's even better now.
Mm-hmm.
The way they sing it in the stadium is just that good.
Red has made his appearance here for those wondering what's happening in my lap. It's just my dog. We had a touchdown for Arizona, but there was a hold. So just to make it as excruciating a beat as possible, we've had a score that's been taken off the field. Now Fafita's running backwards. Oh, now he's running forwards. And he got tackled.
The old play-by-play on the podcast.
This is why I don't do play-by-play right there. For those of you listening days from now wondering, you'll already know what happened.
Shout out to Chadwick. He said, I'm watching, and he signed up for 60.
My man. He's waiting for it to get loose in the end. I'm just going to start dropping F-bombs galore when BYU gets this thing done.
I'll just tell you, it's really far, this place from where you are right now, where I came from. Man, Salt Lake City's no joke. That's 4 hours, and then another 90. We'll turn around and do it again tomorrow. I don't know where we're going yet.
You don't?
No.
Well,
maybe Holy War?
I don't know.
Obviously Athens with Ole Miss coming in. Trying to think. Did you watch the show at all?
I was watching. Shout out to the Bay. I saw the kick. My boys love the kick. He couldn't do it.
No.
But got a lot of shout outs to the Bay, and so there's that.
I always will. I walk down the right side of the field goal and just get people fired up and give them high fives. But I always stop and I ask the youngsters that are there, and they got their gloves on, and I'll just stop and be like, "Do you think he's gonna make it?" One kid was like, "No way! Look at him."
See, I don't never judge. But I will say, my son said he seems like he's too nervous because he keeps saying shout out to the Bay.
Yeah,
I saw the very beginning, Pat setting at just an astounding pace, singing shout, and for the folks that get up early and are out there, it's pitch black. They deserve something to get the heartbeat going, get the blood flowing, and getting the energy and the vibes immaculate. And then he healed them there, but he got the pick right.
He did.
I mean, that's the maestro himself. That's the magic of the maestro, Coach Corso. That's still very much a part of the ethos of game day. Reel them in. And then say the other team, no! I mean, obviously he's great at a million things, but that's certainly high on the list. But that was what I saw. I mean, we played like an 11 overtime game in the driveway here with the boys.
Who won?
The young guy. Young guy's got foot speed. We figured it out. He's like, run the specialty play. My specialty is I just throw it to the other end of the driveway as high in the air as I can, and he runs under it. That's what he calls my specialty play.
Kelly Graves, the women's basketball coach here at Oregon, came up to me on the sidelines, and he looks at me and everybody's got recruits and whatever, and he I hear Steve, and he comes from behind. He's like, he takes his hat off. He's like, just want to make sure I tell you, you and Scott make me proud. Bald-headed guys.
All right, there you go.
I'm not getting any younger.
Hey, none of us are,
good.
pal.
Yeah,
love that. Ball brotherhood. Stand up.
Yeah, Coach Neuheisel was asking about the golf courses in the area. He's a big fan of the old Chevy Chase. He likes that track.
Chevy?
Yeah,
That's upper crust. They wouldn't associate with people from over here in the rough and tumble parts of Bethesda. No sir. No sir. Folks in Chevy can't be messing with
well, I think his LA rotation is LACC
and Bel Air.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
Coach got game.
Oh,
it was good. We were rehashing some old stories. I think the world of that guy. I think he's a fantastic talent, and we were rehashing the old game when he had Tuiasosopo that went for 300 and 200, and then the next week they went to UCLA and lost, and he was going through overtime and how Marcus screwed. Like, coaches are just amazing because that got us back ahead of them to go to the Rose Bowl that year.
And see, that's the thing that I've said forever that blows my mind. If you talked to Mike Krzyzewski or someone that I would obviously see more often than Mike Krzyzewski, Gary Williams, you ask him about, hey, remember when you beat so-and-so? Oh, yeah. Hey, remember when you lost to whatever? We called out of timeout, and they fucked us. Like, they remember chapter and verse, every specific thing that happened in every loss. Wait, play-by-play. BYU field goal to tie in overtime. And it's good. Awesome. Let's play.
Any Tucson Slim sightings?
I don't know. He made it. We put him in winners.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tucson Slim was a dude that was absolutely wrecked in Tucson years ago at the Cats game and was talking to an invisible person. Go ahead.
I just have an observation of watching like this game late. Obviously, Utah has some weather. They're giving it to Arizona State, who doesn't have their quarterback. I can't, like, in person today watching Cignetti lose it. Like, he was almost on the 50-yard line and asking for that referee on the Oregon sideline for the flag. Hugh Freeze tonight. Shane Beamer in Baton Rouge. The energy, Scott, in these games, in these stadiums, I can't get over it. The momentum swings. Like, it seems that it's just this level that it's just constant. And you could see what's at stake. I mean, people were wondering, what's the investment? Who's playing who and how are we going to handle this? Like, it's
so true.
So intense, man.
It's so true. And I mean, I had the luxury of sitting here and watching it throughout the day where you're in it and you're seeing some of it, but once you're there and you're focused on the game you should be focused on, you're going to lose track of some of the other things. I'm just struck by that as well. Just the amount of places, right? The venues, the conferences. It's not one region specific. There's certain places, Northeast, it's not as big a deal just because it's more pro sports towns and, in Philly and New York and Boston, whatever. We get that. But all around the country, all the different conferences, just to see how much it matters and to see all the different rivalries that just push people to a point that it's almost beyond reason. But that's what this is. And I said something the other night about it, and I'll say it now. I mean, it's already October 17th. And sure, there's a hell of a lot of runway left because we're just starting to separate and figure some stuff out. But you know how this works. Before you know it, it'll be, Thanksgiving week, and you'll be down to it. And still, there'll be a lot to sort out, but it flies in a blink. Maybe not so much for you, and you have to get on the space shuttle to get home from where you're at. But it goes quick.
Yeah.
Goes quick. Sleep quick. I don't know if we're supposed to stay on and give people a final for BYU or not.
Nah.
Turn on ESPN 2 right now. Get off the YouTube. And for folks listening, well, you already know because it's Tuesday and you're listening in your car, which means we're recording a new one, and we've got the whole week 6 in the NFL to talk about. So there you go. Are you ready for? Imagine that. Ready to come sit here with Red chewing on your knee.
I just wanted to Friday morning. I watched you, watched Winners Thursday night after watched the NFL game. Watched you. It was like 9:15, 9:30. I was toast. I lay down 9:15. I get up. I sleep like eight hours. Do 2 radio shows, go get a workout. I look at the clock and it's 7:45 in the morning. I'm like,
there you go.
What the hell am I supposed to do?
Seize the day, baby.
Make
it count.
These days are unbelievable. How long? But it's so, I haven't been out, acclimating to East Coast standards when you're on the West Coast is a different animal.
I never changed my watch. I always tell you that. You know what time?
You don't come out here.
Anytime I do, I never change my watch because everything works off East Coast time.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Remember those old U.S. Open days?
Yeah. What, the West Coast ones?
Yeah.
Rough. Not for everybody. Not for everybody. Sent some folks home. They're like, I have had enough, and I understand. You travel well from there to New York City. Will we see you there?
I'll fly with you Monday.
Wow. Well, then get back here safe in one piece. For the folks on YouTube, go check out The Deuce and see what you got going there. And appreciate you being with us. A maiden voyage here on YouTube. Again, thanks to the folks from both Omaha.
Give us draft grades.
And and Podville for all of their hard work to make this work.
Appreciate it.
And for the tens of people. The one guy that said I'm out here. Let's just tell us who you are. We'll just talk to you. Be like, hey, what do you think, Jeff? What's his
Who
name?
you like tomorrow?
Hey, Jeff, what do you think? Put together a couple favorites and a teaser? Where are you, Jeff? Speak up.
Raiders are giving 4.5.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Bear. Bear's in for 6. Just
All right.
fucking fantastic. Let's close it off on that. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, Auburn and Arizona, if they both don't get there, what's the point? Why do a segment? We'll play Trombone Shorty. I'll just sit there and go, I don't fucking know. Do whatever you want. Take it easy.
There you go, people that stayed. You got it.